Hi, I'm Cassie Questorf. I'm the executive director of Klamath Film, and you just watched Losing Addison. With me today is writer, director, and executive producer Marty Beaudet. Marty, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for being a part of the Klamath Independent Film Festival.
Thanks for having me.
Great. Well, we're just going to start off with a bit Q&A. I'd love to learn more about you and your background as a filmmaker and as a writer. So tell us a little bit about your creative background.
Well, I kind of stumbled into it accidentally. I had been an actor in my younger years, through my school years and through college. And I took the advice to get serious about my education and go into the corporate world. But I found myself bored there. And in my 40s, I semi-retired from that, moved from California to Oregon to become a novelist. And during my time writing novels, I I had a particular nightmare that was so vivid that I jumped out of bed and wrote it down, and that is what became Losing Addison. But I didn't see myself as a filmmaker until I met a filmmaker by the name of John Garcia, who told a story that was very similar to my life story, and I saw a pre-release screening of it. We became good friends, and he encouraged me to take my story and multiple stories that I'd published and adapt them for the screen. And I I not only got into filmmaking through that, but I got back into acting, got an agent, and have been writing, acting, and filmmaking ever since.
Wow, that is quite a story. And just, I mean, it seems like you're a jack of all trades and a master of them at that too, with acting and writing and making this film. So was this the first film that you've made?
I produced several films for John Garcia or co-produced them, and I did a couple of shorts, but this is the first feature film that is all mine. I mean, as far as it came from my head, and that the first one that I directed. Obviously, there are a lot of people who worked on this film, so I have to give them all credit for making it what it is.
Absolutely, yeah. And so can you tell us a little bit about the story and inspiration and how it came from your head to kind of make this film?
Yeah, it was very unusual. Normally, I don't remember my dreams long enough to tell my husband about them when I wake up. I'll start and saying, I had this weird dream, and then I can't remember. I say, oh, well, never mind. This one, my husband wasn't in the room. I had been having back problems, so I was sleeping on a massage table, lying on my back. And I woke up from this nightmare, staring at the ceiling, and I was actually saying the name Addison out loud. I didn't know any Addisons. I'd never known an Addison in my life. And I'm thinking, why am I saying this name? And I started tracing this nightmare backwards from end to the beginning, like, wow, I remember this whole story like it's a memory rather than a dream. And I was like, as a writer, I was like, oh man, I gotta capture this before I forget it. I flew out of bed and sat down at the computer, and I actually published the novella 15 days later with no rewrites, a single draft, as though it had just been dictated to me. And I equated this to people, who are religious, like in the Old Testament, there are stories of, the prophet emerges from his tent and said, I had a vision during the night, and proceeds to describe this lavish detail. That's the way it was. It was like it was dictated to me.
Wow, that's fascinating. I mean, you hear stories of like songwriters who come up with songs in their dreams. So I guess it's just your gifts, your story to share with the world.
Yeah. It was
Wow,
a gift. Definitely a gift to me.
absolutely. So you published the novella. Was that self-published online or you and it was one draft, correct? You didn't
Yes.
rewrite it or anything.
Right. I self-published it through Create Space, which is now rebranded as Amazon something or other. Amazon bought Create Space, but yeah, I self-published it. That's why I was able to get it out in 15 days. And
Wow. Neat. That's so cool. And so you've been working on this film for a long time, and obviously with the past 2 years, everything's been a lot
right.
different. Can you talk about, kind of creating this film and the kind of more the technical aspects of it and the
Yeah.
challenges you've overcome in the past few years?
Yeah. So the lead actor who plays Les, Adam Elliott Davis, is also a fellow actor that I met in an acting class, and just so happened that he needed a place to live, and we had an in-law apartment in our basement, and he moved in, and we began hanging out together, and decided that let's collaborate, and we founded Foamine Productions, the production company that made the film, and so we started. I let him. I let him read the novella, and he liked it. And so I wrote the first draft, handed it off to him. He did some edits, handed it back to me, and then after that, we just kind of, uh, adapted it together. And he had a lot of contacts in the film industry. He had been acting longer than I had as an adult, and so he basically took the producer role and hired the crew. My husband and I and our investors took the executive producer role, and I directed. Since this literally was born in my head, that it was my nightmare, and we started pre-production summer of 2017. We shot principal photography in October. Sherilyn Fenn wasn't available until November, so we held off until she was available. And then I went and picked her up and drove her into Portland, and we shot her scenes in November. And then we took a break until after the holidays, and then we started post production on it. We did reshoots in May of 2018. Sorry, we went to AFM that year. Adam and I did, and we got a few offers, but we thought we could do better, and so we turned them down. And in 2019, we did a little more editing, and we were shopping it around. And then the pandemic hit. So the whole thing went on hold, and we thought at first it would, like everybody else, that it would be brief and we'd wait it out. And then when it turned out, by 2021, like, this is going on a while, I said, well, you know what? I rushed the post-production to get it ready for AFM. Now I have a chance to go back and really do some of the things I thought I didn't have time for. And so I took another crack at re-editing it, and brought in some more people in post-production, got a whole new score written that is just wonderful, just transformed the film for me. And that extra time really made a difference, because based on that cut, we got offers, and we went with Mutiny Pictures, who picked up the film for distribution.
Wow, what a story. I mean, was it obviously it was probably pretty difficult to sit on it for that long, something you're so excited about, it's your project. What did you have did it kind of make you maybe a little crazy, like thinking about editing it, or the different things? Like how did that feel?
Well, to be honest, and I think that a lot of filmmakers can probably relate. I mean, there was a period where I just hated the damn thing. One, it was being delayed for so long, and I had to watch it so many times, and so much detail. It's like, I can't look at this anymore. I'm just going crazy. I can't tell the difference between one cut and another anymore, because it's just too close.
Yeah.
And so I actually had to take a break from it. I had to step back, and the pandemic allowed me to do that, like take a breather. And so when I came back at it in 2021 for the final edit, then I was ready, and then I was more enthusiastic again. And so, but there was a time there where I just thought, oh God, this thing is killing me. It's, and this plus the pandemic and no end in sight.
Oh
It was
gosh.
really tough.
For sure, absolutely. And I think, like you said, many filmmakers can relate to that, just having to look at something over and over. And yeah, it can certainly a little too close.
The 5 years is a lot longer than I wanted to go through that process, but I'm not the only one who had to deal with that, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Well, have you had any other dreams or nightmares for inspiration for any future upcoming projects that you're excited about?
Um, I not any nightmares. I'm very, I'm very attuned to my dreams. Like, if I can remember them in the morning, is there anything there I can use? But no, that I think lightning strikes once, and but I have another screenplay that I wrote that I have won some awards for, and cash prizes. That is an adaptation of one of my comedic novels, and I have we attempted to produce it at one point, and um, I had Will Wheaton slated to star in it, and his agent loved it and thought it would be perfect for him. And this was many years ago, and now, and we just couldn't make budget.
Right.
But down at AFM, I ran into the producer that we had at the time, and we were at a cocktail party there, and I was telling the story about this ill-fated screenplay that, the screenplay did well, but we couldn't make the film. And I said I had to shelve it. And she turned to me and she said, "No, I still want to make this film." And I said, "Well, be my guest. If you can find the investors, I would love to see this." And a lot of my fans of the novel and people who are familiar with the screenplay have said this, you've got to make this into a film. So, who knows? At this point, I'm focusing more on writing and acting than filmmaking, because I find it more immediately gratifying. The filmmaking process is a long, grueling thing, and I don't know. I need more instant gratification, I guess.
For sure. Well, maybe next time that you make a film, there won't be a 2-year pandemic and right smack dab in the middle of it also. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. Well, is there any place that fans or people can watch or read any of your writings or anything like that?
Amazon is still selling all of my novels, and then some independent bookstores like Powell's Books here in Portland, which is I think it's the largest bookstore in the country, and you can order online. And then, yeah, the the film Losing Addison can be streamed on Amazon, Vudu, Apple, iTunes, Google Play, and some like YouTube movies.
Great.
So.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that. And is there anything else you want to say about Losing Addison, about the film, or anything you hope that people take away with it?
Just this, that from the very beginning, I have always said that, filmmaking is a collaborative process. And I didn't want this to just be me and my idea and, me all over the screen. This is the product of a whole bunch of people who contributed to making it what it is. And I hope people take the time to appreciate the amount of work that so many people put into making a film possible.
Absolutely. Great words. Thank you so much, Marty, for your time and for sharing this film with us. We're so excited to be showing it at the Klamath Independent Film Festival, and we so appreciate you. So thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for featuring it.
So.